Greg Heister joining us from is Alaska the final frontier?
Well, I think outer space, right? Didn't Star Trek say that?
That's right. But you're close.
In my eyes, it's probably the closest I'll ever get to the last frontier.
I'm just in awe. I thought it would be getting darker earlier there.
Well, winter's coming hard now. It snowed most of the morning. It's about 35 degrees out here right now.
That sounds like Spokane.
And that's the Kvichak River. So it's spelled Kvichak. It's part of the Lake Iliamna drainage. Lake Iliamna is about 2 miles upriver. And it's this is the only outflow of Alaska's largest lake. It's bigger than 2 of the Great Lakes. We're completely off the grid. I don't know if you can hear the generator in the background or not.
You can't be off grid. You're talking to us, Heister.
Yeah, no, on satellite, brother.
Get out of here.
Yeah, no, there's no roads in here, and this is the land of wolves and bears.
How many bears did you see in the last week?
Well, I just got here on Monday, so I haven't seen any yet. But Rob, trust me, we've had them rip into this building, and we're 12 air miles from Katmai National Park. There's more brown bears per square mile there than anywhere in the world.
So it's brown bears you're dealing with up there. The occasional grizzly?
Well, they're all grizzly. Brown bears are like a subspecies of the grizzly bears. So
that's Greg Heister for you.
I believe the Kodiak bear is the biggest bear.
Well, that's a brown bear. But
that's the same
species.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we get the 10-foot brown bears here, and we get them coming through. There's the other buildings I have here. But this river, we've got the largest run of sockeye salmon in the world that come up at world-class trout. There's grayling. There's 4 different species of salmon. There's pike in here, and we're at the end of the season. All the clients have gone home, and I'm just up here to get a little fishing in and to button it up for the wintertime.
Why don't I get an invite?
Hey, Rob, you guys should come up here and do a show.
That's for a discount, right?
Invited.
Yeah.
Well, no, yeah. When you own the place, you can just invite people. Yes,
well,
you need
then
to come.
Let's do it. Okay, so from Spokane to where you're at, give me the travel.
So you go to Anchorage, Spokane to Anchorage, and so I'm just
that's a direct flight.
Dark room, but I wanted to...
There it is. One piece of decor in this panel.
So
over his toilet.
Lose our signal a little bit, but I hope you got to see that. But a little bit of Zagville.
You have laundry there too. That's nice. Keep things
Oh, we
fresh.
lost him.
Can you hear? You all right?
We got you. We got you back. We got nervous. Whoa. Thought a bear got you.
Yeah, let me go back inside. The sun's starting to set though. It's beautiful.
Do you get the Aurora Borealis or whatever it's called? I'm gonna
the Northern Lights.
Yeah, it was here. It was out last night.
Really? What color? Green or red? I'm just so intrigued right now.
Yeah, well, you need to, Rob. You need to come up here. Like Coach Few's been here a lot.
You can't put me in Coach. What does that mean? That's 2 different.
No, entities. It would be good. It'd be good for you two to reunite up here.
What size are the bunks? I think they need 2 different size bunks.
Yeah, right. Rob, we'd probably have to get you like a something long. We'll just put you on the floor somewhere.
Trust me, I've slept in worse places.
Yeah, that's probably true.
I'm not saying that place
that's
looks amazing, true. But I've slept in some pretty horrendous spots in my life.
Yeah, but probably not knowingly, right?
Yeah, no, not by choice. Certainly not by choice.
Yeah, you woke up in places and you're like, how did I get here?
Oh man, too many. For
those of you listening on the pod, head over to the YouTube channel to get a load of this private tour of the Heister compound up on the Kvichak River.
Kvichak. It's spelled Kvichak.
You're not doing any Ruby Ridge stuff up there, are you?
Not yet. He's got the option.
No, but Trust me, it comes to mind, Rob. As wacky as the world's getting, man. There's plenty of food here.
If things go south for one reason or another, you're in a hell of a position.
Absolutely, but you have to get there.
Yeah.
You have to get there. That's the beast.
I've got friends, bro. You can land a float plane right out here and get dropped off. So
that's another question. Obviously, to get to and fro up in Alaska, a lot of small airplanes. Rob, I don't know if I've told you this story, but our mutual friend Monk, a Gonzaga grad,
he's up there.
He lives in Alaska, and it was right in the middle. I should say early days of the pandemic. We were all getting on the Zoom and talking to him. We were all sharing our day, and we were like, "How'd you do today, Monk? What were you up to?" He was like, "Oh, I'm fine. I got in a plane crash," very, very casually. It was like his third plane crash he's been in since he's been up there. Have you been in a plane crash, Greg Heister?
No, thankfully, I've been in a lot of planes. Obviously getting here, but with my work on the Iditarod too, we're flying around in the frozen tundras of Alaska. But there have been a lot of near misses. Let me say that. But no, I've never been in one that's crashed. Thank God. That's not something that I.
Sorry, I hate to put that in the universe.
Don't put that out there. Is it one of those things where you have to really measure the weight you bring on your plane, right?
Yeah, no, totally. All of those planes have a max weight limit, and most of it is for takeoff. You got to be able to get them off the ground, and out here, especially on floats, you run out of runway quick. So we have there's I don't know if it's 2,000 or 3,000 foot dirt strip about 2 miles from here.
Who's doing your dirt work? Your dirt work?
Well, they just take care of it. Oh, that's right. Like you got a dirt company now.
All right, we'll talk about that later. Go ahead, finish your story. I just was curious if you had a guy.
You fly in there and you get dropped off. We pick you up by a truck, run you down the river, and then we have a 27-foot jet boat. We run you down here. And you got your own skiff, and you go fish, and you got a kitchen to make all the food, and bathrooms and full showers. We've got a traditional Mackay steam house here. So it's pretty cool. The island, the lodge is actually on an island in the middle of the river. We're surrounded by water. And it's covered with blueberries. So it's pretty good.
Any other celebrities besides Coach Few?
No. No, I wouldn't say celebrities. There's been like former governors and things like that here, because we're in Bristol Bay. So the Bristol Bay region, and again, this is a unique kind of a niche lodge. It's more of a do-it-yourself thing. So there's a lodge 2 miles up above us. There's a lodge 1.5 miles below us, and then there's nothing for 50 miles out to saltwater. And those lodges are $12,000 a week to go fishing there. And so you do get a lot of, at their places, you get those sorts of people. We get guys and gals that really like to fish here. So
celebs like to fish.
Yeah, but they like to be taken care of on a different level. That's why I'm worried about Rob coming here. Rob might be
I'm looking up Bristol Bay
a week place.
I'm looking up where are you on Bristol Bay?
So Google KVICHAK River.
Oh boy.
And you'll see it.
It is Wednesday night as we record this, the 13th of October 2021. It's crazy, Greg Heister, because there you are in a secluded place, whereas just 4 days ago, you were in the madhouse that is Kraziness in the Kennel.
Yeah, and how cool was that to be back in there with all those people?
Yeah, how nice was that? What did it feel like?
It didn't even dawn on me, honestly. It never dawned on me for whatever reason until I got in there, and I'm like, wow, it's been almost 2 years since I've felt the energy of this place and all of these people. When I showed up, the lines were outside, and I was like, wow, and the crazy thing about all of this world is, like the COVID numbers are as bad as ever and all of this stuff. And yet we're back in the arenas. So like, it makes no sense, but here we are, and God bless it. Here we go. and it was pretty cool. It was awesome to be back in there and to feel the energy and the Kennel Club doing what they do. And there was actually more of them in there for the craziness than there are normally for the games. And so the energy was fantastic, man.
How about the
And then that
production
team.
value for the in-game theatrics, or with the smoke machines and the lights? It feels like
I
an
know.
EDM festival.
Hey, but listen, like, this isn't little Gonzaga basketball anymore, man. This is like a big time Hollywood production, and like, one of the best that there is. And it just goes and proves that, there's progressive minds running the show over there, and they're staying with it, and they're not resting on laurels. And, there was a big time recruit at that Kraziness thing. And so the energy was there. And again, it's a chance to sell, baby. Just sell, 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 sell. And I mean, that's what I saw at Kraziness. I just saw a product that was just selling itself to the world still. And it was great. It was awesome.
Do you think the students are going to be back to where they once were? Because
I think our connect, just so people don't, so we're out in the middle of nowhere. We have our bandwidth is a little shaky. So it looks like Rob froze on me.
Oh.
Did everybody freeze?
No, you just froze.
We're okay.
You're fine. We can hear you. Oh, we lost him again, Jack. I hope a bear didn't get him.
What if it goes back and it's just no Greg and just a broken window? Oh, there he is.
There he is. Oh, there he is. There he is again. We were worried a bear got you.
Rob was asking, it's crazy to think about, but just 2 years ago, the student section was catching heat because they were not filling things up, kind of taking the lesser games off, so to speak. Do you think they're going to rejoin with a renewed enthusiasm?
I hope so. I mean, I hope so. I hope that we all, got a sense of appreciation, right? I mean, you don't get to be there. I mean, even calling games last year, whether it was Gonzaga or anywhere else on my schedule, like that's November, December, you're just happy to be doing games and to be watching these kids play ball. By January, February, March, you're like, God, this is kind of old. I mean, there's nobody here. There's no energy. How are they able, and Rob can speak on this, I'm sure, like there's so much of their energy comes up from what they get from the crowd. And there was none of that. And so, I mean, I was impressed at the way Gonzaga was able to stay at that really upper level through all of those games last year, win so many in a row without having all that extra energy to get. So I hope, even as fans and the Kennel Club and everybody associated with Gonzaga basketball, like maybe it'll make us appreciate and look back and not maybe not take this for granted. I mean, it's a sensitive thing, and it was great to be back in there, and I can't wait for the season to get going. Obviously this team is going to be fantastic. And here's the question I want to ask you guys, and Rob, you may know, when's the last time a college basketball team lost all three starting guards to graduation or the draft and have come back and was the number one ranked team to start the season? I wonder if it's ever happened.
Kentucky
Did those years. They lost all because they had
Kentucky. I don't know. I think I was going to say Kentucky my senior year when they won it with Anthony Davis.
But see, they were really, it was Anthony Davis. He wasn't a guard.
No, but
so I just wondered. It was that all three team, guards, and
that team was Anthony Davis, Terrence Jones, Gilchrist, and there was one other kid that was on that Kentucky team that won. One of the twins. Yeah. I can't remember.
But I mean, it's rarefied air.
No,
I mean, there's another example.
It's really
amazing.
Rare. But I hope we don't get caught up like that, though. I hope we're not caught up in the one and done world. We've already talked about it a million times. I just those Corey Kisbergs and even Timmy, like those guys coming back make a difference, and it keeps a legacy and a tradition that happens around. I just hope we don't lose that. That's my biggest thing.
Speaking of the one and done world, Greg, let's get right to it. Chet Holmgren. Yeah. Now, highlights of him, this has always kind of been his thing. It always looks like he's operating at half speed, 60%, 65%, because you
Yeah.
forget the kid's 7'1". So half speed
Yeah.
for him is a full out sprint for the rest of us.
Yeah.
Does it feel that way watching him play live, that he's not giving it 100% as of yet? Or is that just his game? Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, no, I do. Because, I was a big golfer growing up, and I remember they used to say the same thing about Freddie Couples. He looks just so lackadaisical and so uninterested. And it was because his golf swing was artwork. Like, it was just fluid artwork. And when you look at Chet play, and again, we're talking about a small sample size now, right? I think that there's a lot of that in Chet Holmgren, that he's just so far superior skill-wise. You're gonna have to grow probably more into that body, but yeah, I get it. I think that's one of the most interesting things about this season, is to see how they use Chet and to see how he and Timmy work together. And are they able to work together at the level that we all want them to work together, to have those supremely skilled kids playing basketball at those two positions? So that'll be really interesting to watch. But, you saw glimpses of that. He had that great block in that game. And I think everybody always talks about Chet on the offensive end and shooting the ball and, skilled like a guard and all of that stuff. But it's at the other end. I think if they had Chet Holmgren last year just on the defensive end, they win the national championship.
Sure.
So
yeah, we were liking that. Certainly.
Yeah. What's funny, Rob?
I don't know what he's laughing at.
He's always laughing at something.
Oh, my mind's always going, man. My mind's always going.
Let's do from
I don't think it was just his defense that we needed in that national championship game.
Oh, that is where you're gonna. Oh, the defense would have helped. The defense would have helped.
I couldn't hold it back anymore. That shit, it was just not our day.
I'm just trying to be a team guy here.
I know you are, but shit, it was a rough game, that one, boy. We needed more than defense.
It was a rough one for sure.
We're not done with Chet, but Chet Holmgren participated. So for those of you who don't know, there was 3 elements before the actual scrimmage. It was the 3-point shooting contest, the skills competition, and the dunk contest, just like NBA All-Star Weekend. Chet participated in the 3-point shooting contest, probably because they asked him and he said, I want to shoot, right? I can't imagine they assigned him to that.
Yeah, I don't know how all that worked. I don't know how they picked everybody.
But he faced off in round 1 of the 3-point shooting contest to a kid who has been turning a lot of heads this summer, and that is Nolan Hickman. I think if you listed players you were excited about coming into this year 4 months ago, Nolan Hickman would be like 9th or 10th on the list. And this kid looks like, according to ESPN, he's a projected starter. Do you see that?
Yeah. Yeah. When you look at the speed that they play with, right? And Coach Few really loving pushing the ball and offense. That's what I saw from this team that stood out from, just in the little bit of action, both at practice that I've been at and at Kraziness, is this team is going to play at a speed. Like Drew and Chet are going to have to run. They get up and down the floor with these guys, because they've got some guards now that are going to really, really push it hard. And I think that's going to be fun to watch. But I think that they're so deep now, unproven, certainly unproven, right? And Kraziness is one thing, and scrimmages are one thing, and we'll know more against Texas. And when they get into this deep tournament or a deep schedule that they have, but by the time they get to league, I think that we'll see what we're going to see. And that's a team that's going to fly. I mean, I think it's going to fly. So that's exciting.
Just an absolute embarrassment of riches. The skills competition was Ben Gregg, Marty Olauskas, Drew Timmy, and Andrew Watson. And again, those guys probably could have participated in any number of events. If you had told me to guess who's going to rank those 4 skills competition, how it goes, I think I would have put Ben Gregg last.
Yeah. Probably. I mean, it's, when you look at who he was competing with, that's probably true. And
Yeah.
again, that just goes to show how, like, this program isn't all about athleticism. I mean, it's at a point now where he's getting guys that are skilled and athletic, and they have the entire package when they come to Gonzaga to play. And we are so spoiled, man. Like, we are certainly so spoiled now at watching the level of talent of player. And it's just when you think back 20 years ago, like, I just keep thinking, like, these thoughts really do come to my mind when I'm sitting there courtside or whatever, like those early days when they'd come off the bench and it's like this ragtag looking bunch of dudes getting off the bench with the Gonzaga, name across the chest, and then they'd go out on the floor and just rip your heart out, and now, like, they get off and you're like, oh my God, they look like Olympians. You know what I mean? They're just all, ripped, tall, lean, and you can tell just by looking at them that they're gonna go hard and big, and it's a whole different deal right now, like a whole different deal. And I just hope it keeps going, because it's gonna get fun. And the only thing left is that national championship, and who knows if this is the year, but
Impressions.
God willing, and
amen, brother.
Pressure makes diamonds in my world.
Impressions of the dunk contest.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's athletic again, isn't it?
Yeah, Sam. Yeah,
I think since Rui and Brandon and that team, you're like, well, it kind of took a step back, with as far as dunking the ball, but now I think we see that maybe coming back, and I think that we're going to have some great highlights. The highlight reels in like the senior video or the end of the year video at the Gonzaga banquet's going to be spectacular again, with a lot of dunks. And so that was impressive to watch, and again, just as a 6'5", 6 whatever I am guy who could never jump, I just sit courtside and just marvel at the way that they're in the creativity, right? Like, I mean, that competition was pretty impressive. It was pretty impressive to watch that.
I imagine you run out of adjectives to use.
Yeah, well, I don't even talk about it anymore. I mean, I just like, whoa, you know what I mean? And just, let that roll out farther, and then because what are you going to say? You're like, dear Lord, what did I just see? Like, there's nothing left to say about that stuff. I
can't imagine the stress or lack thereof when it comes to the production itself. Because, you've done 1,000 basketball games. Dan's done 1,000 basketball games. A traditional basketball game, when your breaks are, when the media timeout's going to hit, how many timeouts each team has, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This, does the team just hand you kind of like an outline and the crew ahead of time, and you guys are just rolling with it? Like, I can't imagine.
Yeah, totally. I really had no idea what was going on. I didn't even know who was in the different competitions.
You didn't even have a list? You didn't even have a list of who's competing?
I did have a list, and then they're like, well, Heister, we gave it to you, and I'm like ripping through my stuff, and I'm halfway through it. Then I see
still
the
in Alaska.
List. Like,
you were still in Alaska.
It was for Kevin James, doing the PA stuff. Mm-hmm. Well, that's not what I need. I wanted to show you that the sun is setting out here, and
there it is.
Look at him.
Camera's good enough.
That's a salesman if I've ever. I'm there.
There it is.
I'm there.
Postcard.
Yeah.
It's pretty nice.
How did
it was. You just roll with it. I mean, that's after all these years, you just roll with it.
How did Kevin James sound? Did he sound a little rusty?
Well, I didn't think so. I don't hear him much. You know what I mean? I try to, but I had to listen a lot more to it the other day during Kraziness, because, he knew what was coming. I didn't. So I had to listen to Kevin and then say, okay, well, this is what's coming up next. Here's what's happening. So,
and did you even, it was one 15-minute segment, right? The actual scrimmage.
Yeah, and I guess there were a couple of breaks in it. I know last year's Kraziness, nobody told me anything. So when they stopped playing, I thought, well, that must be first half. And they're like, no, that's the end of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
I
okay,
can't
well,
imagine.
thanks for passing it along.
The blue team was Salas, Watson, Nemhard, Greg, Marty Olauskas. We call him Marty.
Yeah.
Perry, Lang, and Graves. White team, Julian Strother, Nolan Hickman, Drew Timmy, Holmgren, Bolton, Joe Few, and Colby Brooks. The game ended in a goddamn tie. How fitting was that?
I know.
That's the problem with this generation. We're all
they both got trophies. Everybody got
they
trophies.
both got
all
trophies.
about the participation trophies. Yeah,
It's crazy, man. It's just wild to me.
Going into it, I think I would have put my money on the team with Drew Timmy and Chet Holmgren. What were your impressions of the draw?
When they rolled out, you're like, okay, this is over. I mean, like those two ought to score a like. Rob, I know they keep track of points per possession. Like, I just can't believe it's going to be any higher any other team than this year, because Drew and Chet ought to be able to get a bucket anytime that they want this year. But I would have ended that when it ended in a tie. I'd have gone to their half court thing.
Yeah.
Like, you know how they do at the end of shoot around before game day, right? Just let everybody shoot the half court shots and see. The fans would have dug that, because there's usually 3 or 4 that go in.
Now that we're talking about it all and just got to my head, you know who we're going to really miss though? Joel.
Yeah.
Like, just the way he knows the back door, his IQ, like he knew how to work with both bigs in the game. So he knew how it went, and he got all these rebounds. I'm going to miss Joel in this team, you know?
Yeah.
Now that I think about it.
And Rob, and he's one of those guys where you just wanted him to come back. Like, you just feel like Joel, you need to come back. Like, you need to. That's the one thing that never, because I get it, right? It's all about getting out of there and making cash, and I get it. But the one thing that does not get taken into consideration is an opportunity to build brand.
Right.
And when you're at Gonzaga now, and you're a preseason All-America, which he would have been, like, there's an opportunity to build brand. And so if he comes back to Gonzaga now, he leads that team and he has this big year. Oftentimes that brand is going to get you drafted in the first round, just because now, like, everybody knows exactly. Like, Joel was a huge part of that team last year, but he was 3rd or 4th option.
Well, but that's why I say we're going to miss him so much, because with Chet and Drew in the game, he just had the IQ of when to cut, when not to cut. He never needed the ball. You know what I'm saying? He worked it worked. He just worked right for just the offense we need for those guys, especially. That's how I look at it. And that's why I think, and his defender couldn't leave him, because he was always getting back doors, or he was able to shoot the 3 or knock it down. So it's going to be unique to see, but Coach Few's got that. I'm not too worried.
Limited sample size, of course, Greg. Who do you think is the best comp to Ayayi on the current roster?
Oh, I don't think there is one.
Right. That's hard. That's a tough deal.
Yeah, because, and there may be one. I just haven't spent enough time around them yet, because I think of Joel Ayayi, I think about basketball IQ. He always seemed to be in the right.
That's what I'm saying. And with these bigs, you have to, the key for success with these bigs, to make it work, and they have to have a guy who knows when to backdoor, when to cut, when not to cut, because it keeps their defender occupied. Whereas if you don't have a guy who's just sitting, they can come and double team whenever they want. And that's the only thing I think Joel will make not having him will make a huge difference.
Yeah. And, we should talk about Julian Strother. He's the guy, to me, when I look at this roster, he's ready to explode, that kid. I think that Julian Strother, if he was in this program 5 or 6 years ago, he'd have been a 25-point-a-night guy. I think he's that good.
I think he's great.
I think he got robbed in the dunk contest too.
I think it looks like, and again, I'm clearly not there every day. I think of the 3 of us, you're certainly there the most, Greg. It looks like he's emerging as a bit of an emotional leader.
Yeah, well, he's got all of that, man. Like,
but you need
Yeah, I agree, Jack. But he's got a killer instinct. He's got a guy. He's a guy that wants the ball at the end of the game. He can dunk on you. He can shoot the ball, and he's big. Like he's a legit 6'7", 6'8", and especially when he gets to the league, like he's going to be a matchup nightmare for anybody. I think Julian Strother by the end of this year could be extremely important on this
Craig,
thing.
I agree with you. As we know, Coach Few kind of settles once we're past, I don't know, the midway point of December, he kind of settles into 7-8 man rotation. And then and that's kind of the squad. There's been a couple of exceptions, sure. When you think about the starting lineup, obviously you got your big three in there, right? Nemhard, Timmy, and Holmgren. They're in. ESPN projects Nolan Hickman and Rasir Bolton to start there too. Do you see that as a possibility?
Yeah, I mean, it's
because my point is, then you obviously have to work in Anton Watson. You mentioned Julian Strother. Does Ben Gregg spell the big some minutes?
No. I know. Like this team is crazy, right? I think that you've got 4 or 5 guys that aren't going to start that would start for any other team in the West Coast Conference.
And without a doubt,
all
in the
Pac-10.
Stop, Greg. That's not even Pac-10 at least.
Yeah.
Don't put the WCC in this.
I mean, and I didn't even mention Hunter Salas. So,
yeah,
you go. I don't know, and obviously, Coach Few knows more basketball than the three of us combined. Hunter Salas, I don't know if I mentioned him, but I think you got to go 9 deep.
Yeah. Well, and again, I don't know the red shirt question, right? Like who gets to fill that role this year and all of that, but it is an extremely deep team. And I think that's only good, especially until January, because, Rob can tell you this, you make a mistake, Coach Few, you make a mistake, you're coming right out of the game and you're going to be replaced by the next guy that's going to have his opportunity. And if he plays well, he's going to get more minutes. And I think there's going to, especially with all these young guys, you're going to see this ebb and flow throughout the season. By the time we get to January, I think he'll be settled in, and you'll have to earn every minute on this team. I mean, I think, obviously, and I'll go as far to say this, I think Drew and Andrew Nemhard are the only 2 guys that I think that you pencil into. I think everybody else is going to have to earn it. Even Chet, as great as he is, and it comes in as the #1 overall recruit and all of that stuff, he's got to earn those minutes too. I mean, he's going to have competition. There's this team. I mean, look at the way Ben Gregg is playing right now. There's going to be places that he's got to get guys on the floor. And so, I mean, is Chet Holmgren a 30-minute a game guy right now? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know how all that works out.
You heard it here. Greg Heister doesn't think Chet Holmgren's going to start this year.
No. I think because of it, because of recruiting, Chet has to, right? You don't go out and get the #1 recruit and then don't allow him play. Like he's got to get his minutes, but there's going to be competition all over that floor, and every practice, like this team is going to get better at practice than they will in most games, and so it's going to be great. Like it's a good problem to have. It's a good problem to have. But no, Chet Holmgren.
What, if anything, is going to be lost or hold the team back with Coach Few kind of from the sidelines for the first few games here?
I think just the opposite, Jack. I think it'll galvanize the team. I think it'll all bring them. I think they've all got his back on this thing, and he's always been really good at that, about circling the wagons and playing for each other, and what happens in the locker room stays in the locker room sort of stuff. And I think
that's a reporter question.
I
think that's a reporter.
I get it. I fully expected that, Jack was going to want to talk about all this stuff tonight, but I think that, I think that's the only thing that's going to happen. It's going to galvanize this team. It's going to put a little chip on their shoulder. And I think that's good because, maybe this team needs that.
If nothing else, silver lining, it is bulletin board material, and all season long in opposing gyms, Coach Few's going to hear about it. The opposing student sections are going to like dangle their keys. You know what I mean? Have Dewey signs held up, and I think the guys could probably use that on a Thursday night at LMU to rattle their cage
for sure.
You know what I mean?
Well, those gyms are empty anyway, so who cares?
No, not when the Zags are in town.
Well, I'm sure
it's usually the best part about going down there is like all our fans in LA come to those games. And then you look at maybe if they keep it close. If they keep it close, their fans come in at halftime for free. Whoop-de-doo.
So Greg, when are you headed back to Spokane, and when's the next time you're sitting next to Dan D?
Double D.
Well, I don't know. In fact, I probably have the schedule here. I think, what is it? What is the?
Probably next weekend.
I can look it up quick for you. But I head back to Anchorage on Friday, and then I've got to do some work in Anchorage for the Iditarod stuff that I do. And then I actually head home next Monday. So it looks like October 31st, Eastern Oregon. Yeah.
What? You are one of the most, you got the Iditarod coming up. You're just a high commodity.
I have expected it to be a winter wonderland. Talking to Greg in mid-October right now in Alaska. I'm thinking. It looks great.
I was hoping we were supposed to get an inch of snow this morning, and it snowed, but we didn't get it. But some of the higher elevations, you can't see it from here, but it's all white. Like it's white down to 2,000 feet. Winter's here. We're having to keep all the water going in the building 24 hours a day so the pipes don't freeze and things like that. So winter's here, man.
What's your Netflix situation up there? What do you watch?
No Netflix, dude. So like we have Wi-Fi. It's about $300 a month for 60 gigs. Okay. And I know, we probably lose track of how much 60 gigs is, but you can burn 10 gigs in a day pretty easily. So if you were to stream a game like this, is probably going to burn about 10 or 15 gigs tonight. Mm-hmm. But because we're closing up, it's all good. We got surplus. But if we go over that 60 gigs, it's literally $75 a gigabyte.
We'll send Rob the invoice when we go over.
You don't want my website. You don't want my websites.
Well, Greg, again, if people are listening to this and they want to book themselves a trip up with the great Greg Heister to fly fish and have them and hear tales of the Zags, where do they go?
Well, there's Seasons on the Fly Lodging.
Seasons on the Fly Lodgings.
Let me see if I can throw a little light on it. So it's just, SOFlodge.com.
And, let me get some apparel.
Oh, I can set you up, Rob. We can get you. I don't know if I have them big enough. Like, what do I have to order you?
I'm a 3.
Like a double X with like extra long sleeves, or like how does that
3.
work?
Just give me a 3. I can wear a fat man. I can wear a fat man. You can say fat. Can you say fat? Am I?
I don't know. Can you anymore?
I don't know what I can say anymore. To be honest with you, it's. I'd be careful what those interviews in the past that we did. Now that I look back, I can be offensive.
Oh my God. And I worry, like some of the things that we used to joke around with Mo on some of those interviews too. I think back like,
you can't do any of that now. You cannot do any of that. I promise you that, boy.
Like what kind of jokes, Greg?
We're not going there. We're not going there.
How often do the clientele recognize you from being a media guy?
Well, so I have my television show that airs on Discovery Channel every Sunday, right?
Hell yeah.
Seasons on the Fly, right? So that's how most people find out about this lodge. So, because I market the lodge through that thing. So I think most people, they know me from that come here. Some of them know me from Zagville and calling games. They actually had a lodge full of Cougars, Washington State Cougars here this summer.
We gotta make sure you don't
throw that. We just started talking about cancel culture.
Rob, though, because what's the problem is once you're here, like there's no leaving, right? Like you're stuck. And we laughed. We had a great time with them. They're super, super guys, but they walked in that waiter room and there's that big Zag flag. I didn't know that they actually live in Pullman. And I didn't know that they were Washington State Cougar guys. And they walked in and saw that. And two of them wanted to get on the next boat out of here.
They were stuck with you.
They got it.
Yeah.
Is this Sag town up there?
He's Greg Heister. Greg, is somebody doing dishes in the background there? Or is that a bear breaking in?
That's a bear.
This is Muskie Dave. He's our manager in there. See him? Hi,
Muskie
Dave.
Dave. Hell
Muskie
yeah,
Dave.
Yeah, Muskie Dave.
I can smell you from here.
He lives in Spokane. He's a Spokane guy.
Oh, right.
Dave runs the lodge all summer. He's the one here making sure everybody's got gas in the boats and they're catching fish and having a good time.
Hell yeah, Muskie Dave.
But, yeah, you guys, you need to come up. I need to have like a Zag.
Just tell me when. You tell me. I don't care what time of the year. I'll go in the winter.
Yeah, you don't mind flying around in little airplanes?
Dude, I'm in a piece of equipment that tries to kill me every day. I'm good.
Oh, that's right. The dirt machine, right?
Damn right. Excavator.
Would do you have any like conventional rods, or is that frowned upon, and would I be shamed?
Oh no.
Look at that.
Conventional.
Oh, there he is.
A wolf.
Yeah, big old wolf. That was taken here on the river.
Really?
So what's the deal with wolves? If you could just shoot one and you're good to go?
Well, I can't.
Okay, of course not. But
because I don't. But they do have a season on them. That one was actually trapped.
Yeah, they're hard to shoot.
But no,
they're hard to shoot.
But coyotes, right? Coyote, you're allowed to kill because they're vermin.
Say that again.
Right? Coyotes, you're allowed to just kill.
They're pests.
What's that? You guys are breaking up bad.
Coyotes.
But we can hear you though, Greg. You're fine. You're fine. We can keep this going. Oh,
are you allowed to kill coyotes? Just boom, bang, bang.
Look, we lost them.
All right, Greg Heister.
If a bear gets them, yep. Greg Heister. Oh, there. Oh, well, there we go. Whoa, we got scared.
All right, can you hear me? We're back.
We got you. Greg, we'll let you go. We appreciate your time, buddy. We really do.
Hey, Rob, do you know how big that wolf is? Guess how much that wolf weighed?
110.
200 pounds, brother.
200.
I got a wall. I got a wall for him.
It was a man eater.
Yeah, I got something for his ass.
Okay. The great Greg Heister. Excellent work.
Thanks,
I don't think people appreciate you and Dan were literally tossed to the wolves when it comes to Kraziness in the Kennel. No pun intended. Like, here we go.
Yeah.
We're gonna run around for an hour and a half. Yeah. There it is.
Oh man.
He's the greatest guy, and I love working with him, and he's a blast. And I think back 21 years ago, my first year doing Zag Ball was his All-American year, and so life kind of came full circle with that. So I love getting to work with him. So it's great. It's great talking with you guys. You're frozen again.
I know.
Bingo, we're frozen. We can hear you though. Greg,
them gigabytes. Them gigabytes.
Thank you, Greg.
Appreciate you, Greg.
You betcha, Rob. See you, Jack.
Peace out.
All right.
Safe travels.
Thanks, man. See you guys.
Salam.
Get some sleep, Rob.
Oh.